For my work experience, I wanted to push myself further within my freelance business, working within the niche of live event. After a recent module where we had to create our outward-facing website, it encouraged me to look for more work, so I could update my site with new artists to keep my audience interested. I have previously shot within small venues and smaller artists. I wanted to use this module as a way of pushing myself further to the bigger venues and higher regarded artists. I wanted to throw myself right into the music industry, looking for work experience placements within well-established music magazines. This was my preferred option as it would be much easier to gain photographers' passes and I'd gain an insight into the professional world, allowing me to network and build up on contacts. Unfortunately, I had no reply from NME and Kerrang wasn't offering any photographer roles, only editorial. I didn't really know where to go from here, so I began by listing all events within each venue to produce an itinerary of all the events in Birmingham, from big to small venues. Following from this, I produced a template email in which was filled out accordingly to the date and venue, and then this was then sent on to PR, management, artists, record labels and venues in hope of gaining a photographer's pass as a freelancer. From the many emails I'd sent off, I received little back. 80% of those were rejected emails due to not being commissioned or working for a publication. This was something I was aware of that would happen. However, the 20% that got back to me were extremely successful. I managed to shoot Less Than Jake at the O2 Academy, Thunder at the Barclaycard Arena and Adamant at the Copper Rooms. It had been a whole year since I'd been to the O2 Academy, so you could say I was a bit nervous, especially as I was shooting on different equipment to what I usually do. Less Than Jake was rather difficult to capture due to the constant moving and jumping up and down to the third wave beat they play. Not only was I limited to the 3 songs, I also had to make sure I captured the crowd's connection with the band. The pyrotechnics used on stage added depth to my visual elements, something that got me excited and ready to shoot more. Shooting Thunder was perhaps the most nerve-wracking I've ever been before a shoot. I've never shot in an arena and this was something that I can say I'm very proud of getting as a freelancer. I took 2 cameras with me during this shoot, a Nikon and a Canon, to allow myself to gauge within the different models. This shoot was extremely difficult due to my height next to the height and length of the stage. I found myself running between band members and standing as high as I could. The realisation that my focal zoom was not large enough for close-ups hit me, not to mention having 2 cameras hung without a camera sling. The security was so tight during the shoot, I was allowed the standard 3 songs, then I was vacated from the venue instantly. Adamant specifically allocated a contract in which was to be filled out by a photographer before gaining a pass. This turned all the photographers away due to the main points of having your images approved by Uberfunk Limited, having to send a contact sheet of 12 images within 48 hours of the show, and not to mention the fact that Adamant will own 3 images to be used as please. This could be anything, even a t-shirt. After learning from previous mistakes, I bought a double shoulder strap to make it easier when carrying 2 cameras, and as other photographers didn't agree to the contract, it was only myself and another photographer within the pit. Unfortunately, due to the fact that this performance was a first album in its entirety, the 2 songs are slow and linked together, meaning I had the last one to really make my shots stand out from the other photographer. Uberpunk Limited approved of my images. Also, due to my imagery, Copper Rooms managed to get back to me and have allowed me to go back anytime to shoot any band, which is really good news considering they have UB40, Soil, Bad Manners and many other highly regarded artists playing there. We have also discussed meeting up to selling my images to Copper Rooms for promotional material. A meeting is now being arranged to discuss this further. After working closely with Walkspain on their tour in 2013, I was asked by lead guitarist Jason Edwards, who runs an in-house studio, Majestic Splendour, if I'd be able to come down and do a few shots of the studio for promotional material. I produced a series of still images of the equipment held within the studio and also an artist using some of that equipment. A week after, I received an email off Jason requesting me to come back and do some similar shots with Ginger Wildheart, capturing shots of his new Tanglewood guitar. I've developed my portfolio and updated my website to keep it current, hopefully enticing a wider audience and a possible employer. So what have I learned or gained from my work experience as a freelancer? I've built up on my contacts, whether that be a venue manager or a band manager. I now will be able to contact them again for future shoots. I have shot higher regarded artists, allowing me to widen my portfolio and become more familiar within the professional practice within the industry. I am now familiar with shooting on both Nikon and cameras, and I have learnt which model works best with which certain shot types and aesthetic. I have also bought a double camera strap, expanding my equipment to help me become more professional. This module has taught me various lessons as to working within the industry as a freelancer. It's a difficult game due to the competition and the vast majority of people who are delving into the industry, but it has made me more determined to aim higher and believe in myself. Although I didn't get an opportunity with a magazine, I created many more for myself and I shall continue to do so. My aspirations to become an established live event photographer are still high, and one day I will get my dream of shooting a large festival and my work will be published in print. That's a goal I will make.